Cobras? It's your boy Simon Says, also known as Doughboy, also known as Nike Boy Miami. And you know what we're doing today, right? We are covering Bitcoin technical analysis. So, this is our Twitter, the most up-to-date info where you find us, May 3rd. So if you guys would just, give this YouTube video a like right now. As you see, we're live right now, right as we're about to get into the charts. So let's kind of look at something real quick, right? Let's go back to our Cobra videos. Hey, look at that, we're popping up, guys. We are popping up. So we'll click the channel, we'll go to our video playlist. Pretty much you see that, like, after we dumped 25%, we still had that Bitcoin bounce, and then it's been pure bloodshed. As you know, a lot's been going on in these markets. What we have seen is we've seen alts lose a lot of dominance to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin has had a dip, but it's still absorbed a lot of the crypto market cap, so it's not dipping as hard as the alt. So let's get off the Discord and let's go straight to the stream. Thank you everybody for tapping in. So we are down on the trade right now. You guys probably seen that, but let's go to Bitcoin and why I'm still holding this long position that I'm in. So let's go through, let's see what we're seeing on the daily time frame first. So we're gonna get a fresh kind of scope of the markets here. This one is beautiful, right? This is the chart I'm playing with right now. Look at how the daily, we're now back below the daily close. So we're actually holding this quite well throughout, I think, the last 3 hours. Let's see. So we got above it, right? We got above the daily open, where we opened at, and then it's just been a slow kind of descent down. So if we go back to the daily, let's gather some more information on the daily time. When we're looking at a daily time frame, really we're looking at, we could see a weekly time frame even, right? So we have this would be like a daily wedge that I'm looking at. We see the support is pretty much just we have touch here, and then you can see how this was a big flip. Once we got above it, we were able to pump and pretty much hold. Now what we're looking at is this line was holding us up for a while. Now it's actually acting as a resistance on a daily. Trying to fix this up a little bit. So we got that next touch on this wick. And that looks cleaner to me. So that's the main kind of support trend line diagonally that we're kind of faced with right now. Because if we go to a weekly time frame, right? The weekly, we have no supports. We're going through, our bullish retracement. If we see how we've had, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks of consolidation right here, let's just, maybe that's a key point of interest. Notice how when in a bull market, we sweep lows sometimes, right? We kind of came down to sweep the lows of these 2 weeks, and then we carried on and pushed forward. That's what happens in these bullish cycles when we're breaking new all-time highs. Remember, our all-time high was 20K. Go back and look real quick. So, FTX is such a new broker, it doesn't even have its last all-time high. Freaking mad, and it's one of the biggest brokers out there right now. It's never too late to start, y'all boys. Just pick up and, start doing something. A lot of money out here. But so let's look more on the weekly time frame and get a, we're going from a top-down analysis almost. So we're just gonna start with a relatively clean chart and discuss what's happening. First thing off rip, even though we don't have much data before this, right? We have the March 2020 COVID crash. So this is when we came back to our lows. And we retested, let's go. Shit. Let's go to a different chart real quick. So you can see we had that almost scam wick. This scam wick is almost representative of it's not the same, but it's like we came down and we had, a correction, but this correction was a V-shaped recovery, right? That's when you're really truly bullish. We broke all-time highs initially, used, support of the last, midpoint, and then just like continued. But so what I was emphasizing is notice how this COVID dip, right? The weekly RSI, the price action closed at 5K, 5.3K. Now weekly, we're back at that same line or region on a weekly time frame. So it is a big test, It's like saying like, do the bulls have strength on a weekly time frame to like kind of hold this line? It's it's a very big divergence. We did test a lot of the cells, but let's go back to the other chart where we're monitoring it. So pretty much we're talking about this, from 18K, from 16K to 20K. So if we're thinking about that, that's a 25% range, right? If Bitcoin's at 15K, that means, it getting to like that 20K mark is almost like 25% of a move. So let's measure this down wick just so we're like relating price to like candle body. So this was about a 9% wick down. And this is where we're going to draw the fib from just because we've ranged there. We've had a good range. It's not the fib. We rusty, man. We just taking a break. We letting Bitcoin do its thing, right? We looking for the bottom. We should be looking at DCA in to Bitcoin. Pretty much all the way down to wherever it's gonna go. If 22K is bottom, this should be where you start like loading up your heavier bags, but throwing in 10, 5, 15%, on these bigger dips, it's not a bad idea. Maybe also, have a limit order set down here for, a nice little scam wick to just maybe come and then just return to like 25K, 24K area. But let's see. So on this fib, on a weekly time frame, pretty much just right on that 786 level, we see that this wick didn't really touch it, but the price action is, right around that area right now. So good line right now. Notice how we've wicked almost probably the point, like the 0.8, like 1-2 area. I know Don uses another fib line. I fail to recall it, but yeah. So battle at 786 on the weekly, cool. Now let's dive in, right? We've gone over the RSI. We've checked the weekly. We've checked the price action. We know that this is still a lower low to this low. Oh, all right. Let's see what else the chart's telling us. So when we opened this candle almost, 20 hours ago, when we opened this candle almost 20 hours ago, you could tell we had a downside test, and then we had a little upside test. And now we've just ranged. Now we're just in this zone. We're in this doji formation, right? What else do we see? I'm telling you, when we were up here testing, above the daily low and above, in this falling wedge resistance, the RSI on the daily was like up here. It was looking like a double top. Now it's cooled off, and we're still seeing a slight bullish divergence. Right? It's an oversold bullish divergence. The time frame is daily, so it has more strength. You're gonna see more volume. The only question is, do we get, an overextended bullish divergence where, we kind of like take another pump down, and then just sometime like tomorrow, like we come down and then we just hold and then we come back with a strong candle. Because when this daily candle closes in 4 hours, if we're still in this like range, we have to assume for a wick, right? Maybe we sweep the high, come low, we stay inside the low, and then continue where we close the next day. You have to anticipate pretty much the future. Like, you always have to anticipate the future, and you don't just do it for one side. Your analysis, you do both bullish and bearish. You have to see what levels would we hit if it occurs. So monitoring, this daily bullish divergence, it's just a bullish divergence because we see this low on the RSI still hasn't passed, 2 days ago when we first made this daily close. And notice, that daily close was, I'm not sure if it was on the weekend, it might have been, or it was after the weekend. But notice how this candle, it closed the day fully bullish, right? It didn't have any downside wick. It was really strong engulfing candle. So that just means it ended, the UTC time with, full momentum down. And that's the daily, right? Cool, just making lower lows. This is where you get caught, where you're just like, you're trying to, play the long side. Like, yes, you can catch a wick, right? You could catch maybe some upside, like from here to here, it went up, that's $1,000 move. But you have to protect your capital if you're not with the trend. If you're catching a reversal, that's cool, like, but it's always best to trade with the trend. And notice how on the FTX, this scam wick came up and just hit the top of our resistance channel. I don't know if all these shorts just got, their stop losses taken out, an entry or profit. Scam wick on FTX. I've seen one on FTX and Binance this week. And usually I only see these during capitulation, so very good, very good. And yeah, guys, anybody in the Discord, please feel free to, turn off your mics and, ask any questions you guys have. So let's see. So we start to see like more of our structure coming in. This is our only like grace period we really had, where we went sideways and we had our range where we were able to enter confidently on, right? I mean, there's other little smaller patterns in here we could go into, but we see that once we broke this, ascending triangle support after our first bounce, when we started creating higher highs, we just couldn't create any highs after this doji above this point. Made a lower high, lower low, took out the low. We stayed below this zone. If we actually extend that zone to small cheeky zone, let's get it. What's up? Welcome to the stream. We see that we wicked that zone both days, right? So, well, not both days. I'm sorry. We're on the 4-hour chart. So both the last 2 4-hour candles, we tested that zone or area. Notice even before we scam wicked, let's go into the scam wick right real quick before so we're just going through this chart pattern, how it played out. Had a horizontal resistance area where we want our shorts. Anything above here, we're shorting. If you want a long, anything, down here, maybe on the ascending trend line, you could have longed. Now let's look for, confirmations on some of these entries. Small rising wedge here. Double top on around the 50 RSI. Nice nice drop. You see a doji hour come in, so 1 hour, engulf. Right back to try to flip this trend line, right? Try to flip this trend line that turned into a resistance, that held as resistance, as a support. Support came this hour, we wicked into this order block, this hour, and then, you know, what happened? Hard fall, hard fall. This one I moved my stop loss right here in the short. You know, that's when you capture your profits. This was also Wednesday. This was when the CDI news came out for the US. The US news, I feel, impacts the market the most, just because maybe the dollar is so strong right now. So let's go through this again. Notice how 1 hour we held above, you know, our weekly candle low, but it was a doji. Couldn't hold it as support. So the horizontal and, you know, the trend lines are reacting. If we extend this one, right, not quite there, but, you know, you can see that there was obvious, like, resistance that maybe we could have entered on. And I wish I would have captured this long as well. If you had a, you know, a take profit, if you just said a take profit on FTX, you never know. If you had to take profit up here, you would have been just cashed out real quick. So that's the market we're in. But anyway, so wick doesn't count. Let's forget the wick. Price closed. So that's, you know, that's also indication, right? The wick is just noise. The wick could be manipulated. What matters is this body close. So we come down an hour, strong, you know, strong up reversal. Maybe on a 30-minute, we see a little doji. We just hung out for a second, reversed nicely faking out. Got right above the trend line, right above the weekly candle low. Notice, So notice, we came right back up to the doji, almost a double top. Call it a double top. Double top drop, right? So notice, even price action closes, but just, you know, a lower divergence. Like, couldn't get to this point on the RSI. Kind of looks like, you know, this was our left shoulder. This is the head. Right shoulder had a fighting chance, but, you know, that's a lot of strength. The bulls, you know, came right back, just right back to everyone's entry, just to, you know, stop them out real quick. I took the short here. Like, we took the short from up here. We got that short, captured profits. Wish I would have taken this long and then shorted that straight back, but we couldn't do it. Also, what did we see? It's not a divergence, but we see that these lows were kind of even. We couldn't really push down any further to test oversold, and then we just had, you know, a quick reaction back up. And that's on the hourly chart. So just getting back onto the 4 hour real quick. Now that we've covered this pattern, let's kind of discover this area. Like, why did we, you know, look at how we came to this zone. We tested this zone real quick for 1 4 hour. We bounced straight back up to the daily low. This was the lowest point we closed at on a daily chart, right? If we would have went to it, this was the last time around 29K, the first time we had the dip. So we wicked it. Wick below it, closed above the daily low. We wicked this zone as resistance, and then we fell through. So notice how the market fakes out. So these are 4 hour candles, so it fakes out to upside, and then, you know, more downside. And then the 4 hour chart, notice how we're oversold, right? We've been oversold for quite a while. We haven't even been able to get back oversold. You almost know the market doesn't just go straight down. We've been going down for quite a while. This has not been pretty. This is a shakeout, is what it is. This is capitulation without just going straight to, you know, 24K real quick and bouncing up. Because I feel like everyone would just be too bullish on that, right? I feel like this is just a slow knife and you're just bleeding out. You trying to get to the hospital. You're just trying to hold on. You know, you got to hold your hand on the wound. If you got some Band-Aids, you better put them on. And DCA, right? You better patch yourself up. Because, like, I mean, this is the market we're in. Like, where is it? Like, it's 9 days ago, right? This is recent in crypto. Alts will die. A lot of times, our outlooks are on the daily. They don't come to fruition right away. They take time to develop. So saying that, alts will die if Bitcoin doesn't hold the line. Bitcoin didn't hold the line, and neither did ETH. ETH didn't hold the line more specifically when it comes to the alts. And also, the 600-day, we're below the 600-day. The 600-day, I believe, is sitting at around 40K. But if we go to, I want to take a step back and go to ETH to BTC. What I'm looking for, Bitcoin real quick, is just not to go back oversold. If we don't go back oversold, we can have some bullish momentum. That's pretty much it. Like, and if we do go back oversold, right, the price action might come down to here, right, in the wick area. But as long as the price action's in the wick area, and this RSI comes down here, and it's above the 20 RSI, even if it's a double bottom, I'll long that shit. If you're in the Discord, tap in. You're on YouTube, tough. That's tough, my boy. But you could just join, links in the description. So let's finish Bitcoin real quick. We'll just go through the quick, like, 2 hours. So what we had last night was a quick dip, right? Pretty much a wick. And then we came back up. You see on the 2 hour, we actually see it better on the 2 hour. I didn't show you on the 4 hour, but this is like the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder into the RSI. See how these are kind of horizontal? These are the areas you want to watch for that maybe pumpage, I guess you could say, or points of interest or divergence. So what do we see? What do we see? What do we see? You got to move your chart around like this. Like this. Oh, you got to make it small, pinch it, make it work, make it twerk. Right? Make that money dance. Okay. We have this line. This is on a 2 hour. Too steep. So if we find that this is like too steep, we could always, take it down a time frame. We get more candles, we get more wicks, we get to see more of the bounces. That's what the wicks are. The wicks are the bounces. This is much better. Look how this wick, we reacted nicely. Like, we couldn't close. This is where we closed. Like, we impulsed down, but we closed here. The next wick, we touched the zone and we bounced up. So that's nice. And then notice how these are intersecting. We have 2 doji candles that formed on this trend line, and then we finally flipped it. So now I'm looking for this zone to hold and this kind of wedge resistance. If we throw the fib on it, this is how we look for our bearish flip. See the 618? If we come below 618, it's not going to be good. So I could just be kind of cheeky and put like a ascending triangle support like this. Maybe intersects right here. This is the body of the candle. Because this is with a strong wick, I'm not going to include it. I'm just going to use the body. It shows a stronger base. So we got the 618 point of interest. We got the wedge point of interest. And this is what we just came out of. had this marked up before, but I deleted it because it wasn't producing right. It was just a small falling wedge. I'm sorry, rising wedge. So when the highs, are getting higher on the wedge, and then the lows are getting like higher as well, but it's pinching. You can see that we're not like the trend lines are like it's a steep rise. It just boils up, and then if you look here, the hourly divergence, right? This doji candle was the top on the RSI. The price action is below this top. This top comes in and comes in, right? This on the 15-minute. If you look at the 30, right at the 60 RSI, right at our golden zone, right? This is what I've been preaching to y'all. Cobras, the light speed people that like we going light speed, baby. Ludicrous speed. So we see the first top come in on this bullish candle. Cool. Nice dip. We're playing in between these two horizontal resistances. It's actually the daily low, and I forgot what low this is, but it's just a strong resistance. And then when the next top comes in, when the next pump comes in, we actually wick into the order block we extended. It's a doji again, and then we just reverse hard and we take the lows. Right? So that was perfect textbook. That's what you guys should be catching when I'm not here. 60 RSI for the bears is what we want to hold as resistance. We see there was clearly horizontal resistance over here as we haven't been able to, come past this area in a while on the 30-minute. And then we see the price action for this area is up here. So that's the divergence. And yeah, so now let's get into the altcoins and the total crypto market cap, right? We knew we didn't want to come into this zone. We knew we didn't want to test the 600-day on the crypto market cap, right? Why it's so dirty on this situation is because we tested the 600-day, no retest, bro. This was during the weekend. I feel like this came. CME gaps have not been closed yet. Like, there's plenty CME gaps up here waiting. Like, there's a lot of people that trade off of that, and that's just when the weekend comes and the institutions aren't really trading. So there's a price gap for whatever, like from whatever the whales push it to during the weekend. And usually that price, is closed within the week, but that looks really unlikely. What we do like, again, I mean, it's not a bullish divergence on this chart. As you know, we're making a lower low. But yeah, we're oversold on this chart as well for like, shit, when's the last time we've been oversold? Last overtime we've been oversold was the COVID dip, right? So notice how we came off strong from the COVID dip. Came off strong. 5 days, maybe testing the downside a couple times, and then we came up. Had enough strength. We came down. Look how we capitulated straight through the 600-day here. We tested it for maybe 2 days before, then we didn't touch it, then we straight through. 600 days somewhere where you have a lot of volatility. Looks like more for the bears, quicker, but can be steady if you get above it for the bulls. Is there any questions?
The question is, should I be buying some Luna?
Should you be buying some Luna? With risk management, you could buy anything in this market, bro. But the situation on Luna is really sketchy. You want to go into Luna? Let's just look at the chart. Down 97% today, right? I'm here marking it up at $19. Madness, bro. Short from 19 would have been it. We live and we learn, don't it? Like sometimes, wow, look at this chart. This is on the logarithmics. Let me turn this off real quick. So you want to buy this at 2 cents, eh? Let's look at it on CoinGecko. Rank 68th. Okay. So this was, I believe it was top 10 or top 12, rank 12 recently. It's down 100% from its all-time high. 900 million market cap, huh? I mean, how much of your portfolio are you trying to throw in here, Z?
Let's go with. I mean, I was joking there. I was making a joke on Terra, but I believe if this can go back to $110, you buy for 2 cents. It's a good hedge. I'll put $1,000 to it.
No, if this could get to $10, it's a good bet, bro. So let's go through it, right? I mean, I didn't see this. Is this the accurate chart? Like, is this accurate? Yeah, bro. I don't even know what's going on here, Z. We could. So you know the UST, right? The stable coin for the Terra ecosystem or the lunar ecosystem. It unpegged.
It's not so stable right now, is it? It's at 30 cents. Is it? How much is it right now? 30 cents to the dollar. It's pegged.
Wow.
Amazing, huh?
So, yeah, and it's an easy call, right? So with the uncertainty in the market, just Bitcoin being below its 20-week moving average, below its 600-day moving 600-day moving average. There's fear in the market. Bitcoin's at these low prices, 34K. Bitcoin is the king of the market and holds the dominance. These alts won't survive. They don't have enough strength or holders. What these owners of the projects do in the alts, or the people that are in profit, they take profit into stables, and then they put some of the stables when the crash is pretty much over into ETH or Bitcoin. So they buy the Bitcoin with their profits from the alt season. So that's why you're seeing like pretty much just like these crazy diminishes on alts, because it's not just Luna. Luna might have all the attention, but Dot is at $8, right? Rune is out the water. Let's see what Rune is at. Rune is at $2. So now when let's go on a bigger time frame and start looking at these all-time highs. This is $12 at its all-time high. This is somebody wrecked almost as hard as Luna, so 76%. It's just, maybe they had more of a chance to get out because, this is a rug pull, right? This is $3 trillion in volume in one day on Bybit's exchange alone. I'm not sorry, it's not 300 trillion, 3 trillion. So when we look at the market cap of all of crypto right now, that's maybe 2.5 total volume on one pair on one exchange. So the main thing why this happened is because the unpegging of a stablecoin. Pretty much for whatever reasons, the stablecoin is our basis of our dollar in crypto. If we want to take our profits and feel secure, we move it to our stable coins, right? If we want to take our profits and invest it in somewhere else, and you don't want your money to be moving while you do it, you put in your stable coins. If you're waiting for a dip to buy, we sell up here, and then now maybe I'll still buy Luna at this price because it's only 30 cents. It was just at 20 cents. Do you know how much percentage that is? This is moving. Like, this is doing madness still. Let's go to the 1 minute. Because we have to realize 20 cents to 30 cents is 50%, right? This is being leveraged around the world. So if we bought it when it's at 28, you're up 8% on a 10x leverage. That's 80%. This is the casino. And should we buy Luna? Yes. We should have bought Luna when you said it, Z. Because it's not about what the market's doing. It's about capitalizing on your plan and capitalizing on your funds, right? The market could be shit. We know Bitcoin is going to survive. All these alts will not survive. We've seen alts will die. It's this cycle. Tron has just been around. Like, I haven't seen Tron since the first bull cycle or even heard of Tron up to last cycle. Like, and I'm new to crypto. Like, Tron was before my time, I'm not even gonna look at Tron, but that's what this is. So maybe it is worth, buying 50 coins. Let's say 50 coins, and we retrace to this $10 mark. Those 50 coins are now $5,000. But it all depends on the peg. The peg wasn't looking good, from my standard, and I don't even know why. I don't know why it unpegged. Maybe it's because of the volume. Maybe it's because of all this. But let's look at the date on the unpeg. 3-hour time frame, May 9th. So, it was dipping normal, right? It has normal dip. Last pump, May 9th on the 12th hour. 12th hour, boom, unpeg. You put your short at 60, my boy. You don't handle none of the noise until that peg. This is the first day, right? These are like 3 days of epicness, right? Now that we're looking back at it, all of us would have been, straight. It's all about having that community here. This is why we're building this. So we can educate you guys. So I don't got to be here all the time doing this 100% of the time, I could rely on somebody. Somebody can have my back, and, have game. But so, like, there's nothing related on the RSI. You got this day, 3-hour bullish divergence. But this is why we're here, right? So on the 12th, right, May 9th, 12 o'clock Eastern or UTC time. This is, I think, portraying, or no, this is my time. So 12 o'clock my time, noon, unpeg. From there, it's just, a bloodbath. Like, it's not even calculable. I can't even calculate because this is 100%. But like, also, like, if also you would have got in at 40, this is 100%. So like, everywhere you would have got in is 100%. That's why the percentages were so crazy. Because even if you got in at $1, you're making like 100%. So even if we got in at, let's say, $10 or $19, this was our zone. This is the resistance zone. And, there was TA on this. There was definitely some TA on this. I was looking at this zone. I was like, okay, this is the last top. Cool. Yeah, cool. I even took a long, like, this thing was so funny. You could have you were making money clicking one way. It would just bounce around for 40 seconds and you just take out. You would be good. Like, it's going both ways. But like, notice how we had like the support or a descending triangle, really. Broke into the zone, retested the zone as resistance. Nasty. Me and Chapo had this retest at 1947. I swear, bro. We were in at 19. You want to go into the 1 minute? Let me show you what that thing did to us, bro. Because the percents are just moving too crazy, right? You gotta really have low leverage and really be DCing in, like if we wanted to trade this, like very degen stuff, but it's fun. Like this is crypto. This is why we here. And like one thing I wanted to point out, like trading is like 10%, technicals, 10% fundamentals, 80% psychology, right? So I made my little 10% here, but I maybe my fundamentals were good. Like, what time is it? We still got a little bit of time. Let me see. So it was right here, 1947. Look how this thing comes up. This is a 1 minute time frame. No way I pepper handed that thing. It couldn't have been from there. Okay. I was in at 19, right? Probably like a 20. Wow. It was probably like a 20% leverage. I'm not sure if I got liquidated or what, or I closed. I might have just closed when it came down, or maybe I closed when it like was coming back up here, but that thing just dipped. And it's that's why it's like 80% psychology, right? Because like we knew we were retesting the zone, we knew we could have sold it, right? But it's like at that point, it's like, how long are you going to hold this for? Everyone's thinking like, oh yeah, this could bounce, like you might get a bounce somewhere. But yeah, guys, it's Luna. It's like one thing we just got to get good at is like following the hype and then knowing the narrative, behind the hype. Is how we're gonna, capitalize on a lot of these gains. But yeah, I probably would have went to sleep right here. It was like 12:30 my time, and then I would have just woke up at like 7:30. I definitely would have closed. Like here, I wouldn't have closed. Like I would not have known this was coming. But shit, even from the bottom here, had a nice little pump. That's from 60 cents. So look, so even from that 60 cents to that $7 is like you see like the longs, you could calculate this. It's like 13x right here. But the shorts are like uncalculatable because like, yeah, I don't know how to do it. Because from 10 to like 5 is 50%. Cool. Like that's cool. But then once it gets into like, if anyone has any comment on that, would be much appreciated. But the last thing we're gonna get into is ETH Bitcoin dominance, right? We've been monitoring, this ascending triangle. For a while now. We also see that it's ascending triangle with the green lines, symmetrical with the black line intersecting. We see, ETH had a nice rally and it was, performing strongly. And even when Bitcoin was dumping, up to this week, right? This wick just came in. So let's go back down to the weekly. But you can see that we tested, the support of this triangle. I promise I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it. I promise. Don't be moving my trend line. So like when you have a good trend line, it's gonna get hit. But notice this, descending triangle that just played out perfectly. We had the test of the we broke down. This is what me and Z were going through. It was right here. It wasn't here. We had the wedge originally. The wedge broke down. We tested, this day the support. We bounced up. Doji, nice. But no, we tested the support of the descending triangle. Notice how this next day we broke it. We broke the descending support. We used the resistance as a support of the symmetrical. And then we came up. We hit the zone. Notice how we stayed below the 60 RSI. Notice how we stay below the 60 RSI, and also notice it's a double top on the RSI, the price action. This high is right here. On this price action close, the high is right here. So obviously this is, showing something different than the RSI. After that wick, let's even go down to hourly time frame or 4 hour and see how quick that came. 4 hour double top on the RSI. When you see this, like if I would have just sent this chart in, oh my gosh. Notice how like the divergence is from here as well. So that's why it was so strong. It wasn't just a double top on the price action, from this close to this close. It was, the daily div was, the daily divergence was here from here. And then you have that play out, and then this is why you seen yesterday. If you want to let's look at a strong, well, this isn't a strong altcoin. It hasn't been performing strong in a while, but it was a top 10. It was a top 10. If we look at yesterday's, day it had, we see that this dipped, had this bounce like Bitcoin did. Everything had that, midday bounce like we were expecting. And then the next, leg comes in. What is that? So 35% on a day. That's nothing to scoff at, right? That's a hell of a day. And then you look at, the King Bitcoin. What kind of day did it have from its bounce? A cool 13%. 1/3 of what the alts dropped. And that's why we have, the dominance of Bitcoin, right? The market cap value, how much, because when they cash out of their coins, now these smarter whales, all right, let me put in Bitcoin now. I know the end is coming, or like maybe it's not even them. Maybe it's just like, maybe it's the whales buying the alts too at the bottom. Like that's just the retail cashing out. Who knows? But pretty much when they, when the Bitcoin dominance rises, that means the alts are gonna suffer because Bitcoin is the only thing holding up. People don't sell their Bitcoin. I mean, people still selling ETH. ETH, they're just selling it faster than Bitcoin. Like that's a lot of people selling their Ether. But notice we didn't make a lower low yet. Still in the ascending triangle. ETH's at a great price, but it's looking tough. We're supposed to be buying the fear, so just start, DCing in and, check into the Discord, check our YouTube. Stay active, and we're gonna catch all these gems, my guys.